So good evening, everyone. This is Julie White from Pennsylvania, and it's so nice to have you on our Zoom call tonight. And I'm very excited because we have a real dynamic leader with us tonight. Her name is Patti Palka, and she's a Pro 8 in LifeVantage. She and her husband, Greg. And I'll never forget because I'll never forget the time that he proposed to her on stage at one of our big events. I think it was an Elite Academy. I don't remember which one it was, but it was a very special moment. And so anyway, let me give you just a little bit more background. She's a wellness entrepreneur. She's a wife, mom, sister, daughter, a proud Nana, a child of God. She's living a life of vitality. And she's also been involved in network marketing before LifeVantage, so she's very experienced. So with that, Patti, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Well, thank you so much. I'll start off telling kind of a brief story of mine, and then talk a little bit about where I see LifeVantage right now and how excited I am for each and every one of you. But first of all, I just want to thank Julie. I can't remember exactly when we met for the first time, but I think I've been on your team call before.
Yes.
And, but it's just been really fun to watch you grow. And, you know, when you got your Jeep, I was like, I had tears. I was so excited and so happy for you. It wasn't a Jeep. You selected a Land Rover, if I remember right. So you took the cash and used it towards that. But still, to qualify for the LifeVantage program is an amazing benchmark, you know, in our company. And so congratulations for doing that, Julie. I know you set the pace and, you know, that beacon of light for everyone on your team to follow. So I thank you for asking me. I feel very honored to be here. So my story, my gosh, I've been an entrepreneur my whole life. I've only been a W-2 employee maybe twice in my life. So I'm officially totally unemployable. I don't think I could ever work for someone else because I just don't like to be told what to do, mostly. But, you know, I just have always kind of marched to a different drum. And I think a lot of network marketers do. And that's where we find ourselves. So, I was a cosmetologist, and then I went to real estate school. I was a realtor for 22 plus years. I had my own brokerage. And all along the way, I was exposed to network marketing at different times. And I early on found that there were products that weren't marketed anywhere else but through a network marketing company. And very often they were superior products, I found. And I didn't necessarily want to sell the products or build a business, but I might become a distributor just so I could get the products wholesale. I wasn't stupid. And, you know, LifeVantage has a program where we have our preferred customer program. So you don't necessarily have to be a distributor in order to get our products at the same cost that distributors do. And so that in and of itself is kind of unique. But anyway, I was in Amway for more than 10 years and never, oh gosh, I don't even know if I ever made $500. It was really bad. But I enrolled about 15 people. So, I mean, if you do that in this company, I mean, you're going to have a whole lot more success than that. But they have an incredible system of training and in teaching success principles. And no matter what area of life, success principles are always the same. And so that's when I was first introduced to people like John Maxwell. And I mean, I was introduced to him years and years ago. And so I believe wholeheartedly that the success that I had in life in business as a cosmetologist, having my own business and company doing that, having my own real estate practice and ultimately my own brokerage, and then in LifeVantage, I believe that everything that I did helped, you know, it helped me be who I am today. And so success principles are success principles always. And so from there, I was out of the industry for around 10 years. I had promised my husband at the time, who I was married to, that I would never do network marketing again. And then enough years went by that I forgot that I made that promise. I mean, I never went looking for an opportunity. but it came to me. And again, it was from products that I thought that I liked, and timing was poor. My mother-in-law was in a coma at the time, and you know, I got some products, but I put everything on a shelf. And when I looked at it again a few months later, I saw that the industry had changed. And that company is how I met Tyler Daniels and Marcel Niederhauser. And so that forged a relationship that of trust. And I trusted their leadership, and I trusted their business. So anyway, long story short, I followed them to another company, and then another company, which ended up being LifeVantage. So the other companies don't matter so much, but I had success with those companies, and I never had success before. So, you know, I got to the levels of maybe what would be the equivalent of a Pro 4 in one of those companies and a Pro 5 in the other company income-wise. And I really believed that a lot of why I had that success was the leadership that I was following and the system that they trained. And one thing that they teach that has never, ever changed is if you want to build a business and you want to make money, it's how many presentations a month? 15 presentations a month, right? We hear that echoed throughout the whole company. And that's where that came from for me, was through them. So I got started with LifeVantage. I'm actually one of the original distributors. My distributor number is number 52. So it was 9 years on May 18th. I reached the level of Pro 5 very quickly, and then circumstances, I met Greg, who's now my husband. I went through a divorce, and I met him through my aunt, and we ended up becoming business partners. And so Greg and I together achieved the rank of Pro 7, and then on to Pro 8. He does have his own business. He's on my second line. My aunt enrolled him, and she passed away a year ago, just the 15th of June. It's been a year. So all that to be said, it's been a little bit of a wild ride. The reason I got back into this business full, like with focus, was my real estate brokerage that I had. I started that in 04. And when the economy tanked in 08, 09, I was praying, you guys. My marriage was on the rocks, 30-year marriage. I was terrified, very anxious financially of where I was going to end up. I made good money, but I knew that it wasn't consistent. And I was lonely. Oh my gosh, I was so lonely. And so what LifeVantage did for me was it brought me a family of community, of support and love and acceptance. And, within, I did reach the rank of Pro 7 within 23 months, and then Pro 8 the following year. And then Greg and I got married. It'll be 6 years in July. So we've been Pro 8s for 6 years. I married a man with 8 children. I have 2. He has 8. He had 5 still at home, and I have been an empty nester for 10 years. So you can imagine maybe of the changes that, we went through. So our last one at home graduated and is off to actually your neck of the woods. She's off to Johnson & Wales in Providence, Rhode Island in August. And so we will officially be empty nesters. And we are so excited to be jumping right back in with focus, because we're not dealing with me being the evil stepmother and, all the drama and everything that we've had for years. And so we're really excited. Last month in May, we're in June, May, was the biggest month that we've ever had. We had more distributors enroll, more customers enroll, and more volume than we have had ever, other than when the company had like a promotion that caused artificial volume kind of stuff. So if anybody's been around for a while, you might remember that. But so we're excited. So why LifeVantage and why right now? Oh my gosh. So in the Bahamas, Darren was talking about just where we're at right now and how we're catching the buzz. I mean, we are the talk in the industry right now. There were a bunch of people that were just down in Dallas, and I'm terrible at acronyms. And so I'm married to a retired colonel in the Army, and everything's an acronym. So it's the National Association of Network Marketing Professionals, or something like that, whatever that acronym is. It was just in Dallas a couple of weeks ago. And Brandon Cunningham said that people came up to him at that and they were like, what company are you with? And when he would go in the last couple of years, they're like, oh, we haven't heard of that company. And now everyone's like, oh, we've heard of that company. We've lost a lot of our leaders to your company in the last few months. So we are the company that everyone is looking at right now. And so why do I say that? Why do I think that? Well, we know we have amazing products, right? So the leader in nutrigenomics, in biohacking, we have one of the best compensation plans in the entire, industry, in this entire profession. Brandon says we should say profession and not industry to do that. And so why wouldn't somebody look at this? It's not a Me Too company. We don't have just supplements. We don't have just weight loss. We don't have just skincare. We don't just have, the Me Too juices and that kind of thing. We have unique products, patented products with validated science. And we are creating a culture and a community of people who want to link arms and they want to make a difference. They want to make an impact in the world. And so to kind of wrap up a little bit and take a breather here and see if there was anything else you wanted to hear from me. Greg and I have taught for several years about the difference between success and significance. And so we recently changed, in the last year, we changed our team name to Global Impact Team. And the reason we did that is because we want to make an impact. We want to make an impact in people's lives. We want individually, community-wise, but we also want to make an impact in the world. And we see that that's what our company wants too. And that's what we're doing. We're linking arms with like-minded people, life-minded people, a term that LifeVantage actually coined. And we're partnering with people that care, that people that really want to make a difference. And it doesn't matter whether someone comes in to our company just really in love with our products, because that makes an impact, that makes a difference. But some people, the answer to their prayer, which was the answer to my prayer, was I needed an answer to prayer financially. I needed a more secure financial future. And I lost everything. I mean, in my divorce and we split things, but I had so much debt from my brokerage failing. I took everything out of my retirement. So I had nothing left. I was just 57 years old in April. And, it's just life goes by, right? And so what am I going to do? So this was an answer to me for that. And so it doesn't matter whether people come to us excited about the products, excited about the business opportunity, or excited about both. People are getting it. It's resonating in their hearts that we are a company, we're a community that wants to make a difference and wants to make an impact in people's life and really, be, it's about legacy, right? And being of significance to them. So that's kind of my story and my where I see LifeVantage is going, but I don't know if that's what you wanted, Julie. If there's other information I can share, I'm happy to do that.
Well, absolutely. And I love the name of your team, Global Impact Team. That says so much. And yeah, that's beautiful. And I love how you just, brought out our culture and, we're looking for partnering with people that want to have an impact. So that's beautiful. I really appreciate what you shared. It was very helpful. Would you have just a few minutes for some questions, possibly?
Absolutely. If I don't know the answer, I will commit to trying to get the answer for you. So
Sure.
anything up though, I promise.
Okay, so if someone has a question, they can either unmute themselves to ask it and then mute yourself again, or you can type it in the chat box. Anybody have a question for Patti tonight? It looks like we have a quiet group here tonight.
No, I have a question, Patti.
Sure, what's that? It's Joyce, right?
No, Barbara.
Barbara, okay.
Barbara, I'm here with Rose. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I've been stuck at Pro 3 for a long time, but I've got some momentum going. What would be something that you would say to me to get me to 5?
Well, if you've got some momentum going now, I would say that what you've done, the change that you've made recently that's caused that shift, is to keep doing whatever that is. I mean, not just never having chatted with you before and not knowing, you know, all the circumstances and stuff. Obviously, you've done something that got you moving, got your team moving. And so I would just keep doing that.
Thank you.
You betcha.
Very good. Very good. Anybody
I have a quick question.
Yes.
I understand the acronyms. I'm retired military too, so I kind of understand
Yes.
all the acronyms. When you said one of the big success principles is 15 presentations a month, what makes 15 the key? You know, because you said a lot of industries say that 15 presentations, and is that like one-on-one or group present, or does it matter?
You know, it really depends on who you talk to on that. So my opinion on that, it's exposures. You know, our business doesn't grow if we're not sharing and exposing that we're even in business. I mean, so many people, I think when we first get started in this profession, we maybe we're a little uncomfortable with the profession. We're maybe not proud of it. We're embarrassed about it for whatever reason, and that's usually because of the way we've been treated by somebody. But if we're closet network marketers and we're not, and we're trying to hide that, that's going to come across to people, and they're going to pick that up. So when I'm talking about 15 exposures, 15 presentations a month, I can only go by what my experience was. And so when I got back in this profession, it was not this company, but 2 other companies ago. And that's what Tyler and Marcel said. I was extremely busy then. I had my real estate brokerage. I was the broker owner, and the market was hot and I was busy. And so I would look at my calendar and I would schedule 4 time slots a week and a month, or 16 presentations a month, so 4 a week. And then when I got on the phone, when I was talking to people, I would say, hey, can you do coffee? Can you do this? I've got something I want to run by you. And I would write the name on the appointment, even though the appointment was already made. But I had to put placeholders in my calendar so that I could do that. And I think that people are still working. That's what they've got to do. If you don't put those places in your calendar, then life fills in around it. And then all of a sudden, you know, oh my gosh, it's been 6 weeks and I haven't shared with anybody. And then, you know, we can't grow if we're not being consistent. So that's what I mean by that. Did that help? Did I answer your question? Okay.
That was excellent, Patti. And I think that's something that we all have to be really diligent to do. That's the challenge. Anyone else have a question? Do you have anything in your chat box?
I do. I've got, they're asking about conveying vision. Can I express vision that I would convey? Well, people, let me preface what I'm going to say with this, and this I'm sure isn't new, but it's so true. People join you. They don't join a company. They don't join products. They're joining you. So if you have a high belief in your company, if you have a high belief in your products, if you have integrity, if you have passion, and you share your vision, then people will be attracted to that and they will join you. So my vision, if I just share my vision, it might not be your vision. And so it wouldn't do you any good at all to share my vision unless it happened to be that person would resonate with it. So you want to get really good at creating your story and your vision. And so one of the things that I think that we should all do a better job when we're onboarding a new distributor is helping them develop their story, their why, right away. And it's going to change because when you're a brand new distributor, you have success. So you can't say, I did this by this time and all that kind of stuff. But you have your story. And Eric Worre taught us that or teaches that is you had a problem and you were maybe open to a solution, even if you weren't looking for it. When it presented itself, you had hope. There was a spark inside of you that life could look differently than it was the current path you were on. And so you took a chance and somebody shared with you. And I think that's one of the things sometimes that we leave out of our story that's important because you want them to see that that's who you are with them as you're that person that's sharing. And so it may be a friend shared about a little yellow pill because I had joint pain or I had a back injury, or it may be that I just got laid off of my job and I was looking and open and I heard about this and so I took a look at it. But whatever it is, you want to include that into your story and then what your hope was. So when I'm condensing my story to try and be within a minute, which I went a little longer on that tonight, but I was a busy real estate broker. My marriage was on the rocks. I was lonely. So emotionally I was lonely and I was financially scared and I was praying. And so my prayer was I got a call from a friend who introduced me to something that was totally outside of my comfort zone as far as not being part of real estate, right? It wasn't that, but I was curious enough to look. And so then within a short period of time, what were my answers to my problems? Well, I was no longer lonely. I had a support system. I had a community around me. I had hope in my financial future. And I actually forgot to say, but stress creates health problems. And so my health got better because I had less stress and I was taking some amazing products that gave me my health back. So all of those things were my answer to my story. And so that's part of my vision or the transition into my vision is then that I know that I believe God brings people into my life that are praying for answers to whatever their problems are. And it might include health. It might include financial. It might include community, and that they're lonely. And so this was an answer to prayer for me. And then I go into wanting to make an impact in the world. And that we're looking for people that want to partner with us and want to make a difference. They too want to make an impact in the world and they don't know how they're going to do it. And maybe this might be something for them. So that's kind of how to me, vision has to do, it's very personal, but it has to do with your story. And you want to get comfortable with what your story is and keep it current. So I hope that helps. Yes.
Yes, that was excellent.
Right.
Excellent.
It looks like I answered.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Oh, thank you, Gary. I didn't want to. I was hoping I answered that.
Yes, you did great. So I was just looking at a question. I see a question here. It says, let's say I run into a friend and we both know our schedules won't allow for a formal meeting, but I've got their interest. Where do I go from there?
Okay. So I would just schedule a time because if you don't want you don't want to say too much that they get enough information that they think they got it and they've done those things before, and so they don't want any more information. So you want to honor and respect our opportunity that we have to make sure that you have enough time to give it the value that it deserves. So if somebody's really busy and you've caught their interest, I would just say, look, I have found so much value, and this has been so important to me. I want to make sure that you get the information, you know, in the same way that I understood. And so even if we can't get together for a couple weeks or something like that, let's calendars and see if we can schedule some time to get together. So I would probably do something like that.
Do you do three-way calls also?
I do. I used to do a lot more. It seems like our team's kind of evolving right now. More and more things are happening online. And so I don't know if you guys are using Facebook Messenger at all, but you can do three-way messages with that. And you can even do three-way video with that now. Just like we're doing with Zoom, but you can do it with Facebook Messenger. And so you can introduce people like that. So in fact, I just taught this kind of to Greg. I don't mean that I'm taking the credit, but he didn't understand because somebody reached out to him because he's retired Army colonel, had PTSD. And so he's kind of known throughout the company, his PTSD story. Dr. Marvin they had him on that call and recorded that. And so somebody reached out to him on Messenger. Well, no, they texted him and said they had sent him a message on Messenger. Would he check it and would he respond? Because they were doing a three-way message introducing him to the other person. Well, my husband had no idea how to do that. So, but thankfully they had sent him a text. So then I was able to show him how to accept them on Messenger as a friend, and then how he could listen to the message, and then he was able to send a message back to the gentleman who had PTSD. So it's a little bit of a learning curve, but it's powerful because people still hear your voice and you still are connecting people, but you don't necessarily have to take them away from what they're doing. So it's more on their time. So, you know, if it's during the workday and people are at work and things like that, you can still accomplish the task of connecting the people together. And then just asking them to let you know when they've heard it. And then you can tell too, because there's like a little check mark that you know they listened. So
that's great. Yeah, that's awesome. And the technology that's, you know, becoming available is just incredible.
Exactly.
I'm not going to hold you too much longer here. We really appreciate you taking this time with us. It's certainly been an honor and privilege. I do want to ask one thing before we close. And that is, you said that your team has grown more, you know, this just recently than it has in some time. And I was wondering if you could just give us a little tidbit about maybe something you're doing differently. And I was also wondering if you're involved in the Building Depth group with Marcel.
I personally am not. I have a lot of my team that is. And so I love I just love the concept of building in depth and in knowing that it's our responsibility to create relationships with people that come onto our team. And the reason, you know, this is so important is because there are lots of statistics that show that sometimes people just kind of disappear, they fade away. And if anybody has been involved for a little while, you may have had that experience on your own teams. And so if you haven't taken a personal responsibility to build relationships with other people, you might lose that whole leg, or you might lose a whole portion of that leg. And so that's really important. And so I think that that's like it's some of the essence of what's taught at Building in Depth. I do get on the calls sometimes, and I do, I'm part of the Facebook group and everything that's on that. So, but yes, there are a lot of people on my team. We just have, it seems like whenever it has been an event and stuff, we've had other things going on that weekend. And with 10 kids between us, you can maybe imagine how that kind of is.
Right.
But really, we are encouraging people across our whole, what we've maybe done differently is just to let people know, is to meet people where they're at. We very much believe, Greg and I very much believe that, you know, customers are awesome, and we've got, we're seeing that statistically. Darren has had statistics on customers often will upgrade to distributor. And so, you know, we've seen kind of a shift a little bit within the company from in the very beginning 9 years ago, we had lots of customers, and then people were saying, hey, we need more distributors. And now we're going back to customers are great. Yes, everybody's great. If we think about it, it doesn't matter whether somebody's a customer or a distributor, volume is volume, right? If they buy a Vitality Stack as a distributor, same amount of volume to you as if they buy a Vitality Stack if they're a customer. What we want is that consistency and people being on those subscription orders every month. So we've really concentrated on educating people, whether they're customers or distributors, about the value of our products, and that's education and stories. Oh my gosh, sharing stories without making claims, but sharing stories so that people continue to stay on the product. And I love educating people about, I love the term biohacking, but just, you know, when people find out what they can do today that will affect how they're going to live 10 years, 15, 20 years from now, and why wouldn't they want to do it, right? If it really makes a difference. It doesn't mean they're going to feel any different, but they know that they are actually doing something proactive, offensively rather than defensively. And so that's just something that I share about quite a bit. And I think maybe people are starting to do that as well. We do a team Zoom on Sunday nights. And then we you know, email, you know, phone calls, all of that. So promoting our major functions, you know, we've got Elite Academy coming up, and then actually conventions in October. And you guys might not know, but in Elite Academy, they're doing sessions this time. So it's going to be a little bit more like convention. So
yeah, that's great. So I love that education piece. And so in your educating on the products, so you're doing that in a variety of different ways. Like, how are you reaching your customers?
Well, we have several Facebook groups that we run, and so one of those is it's not new. We've just copied other people that are having success, but we have an educational group that's more science-based, and so customers can be put into that, and distributors. So anybody can be a part of that group. And it's called You and Nutrigenomics. And so that's one of the ways that we educate people. We have another group called Living Your Life with Vitality. And actually we had the group before we came out with the Vitality Stack. So it was kind of funny. But I felt like the word vitality embodied what I want to do as I age. I don't want to just fade away. I want to live a full, vital life. So that's how I came up with that. And so that group is also for customers, distributors, friends. Anybody can be a part of that group. And so in January, we actually had a 2018 transformation challenge in that group that was 60 days. And we announced that and set it up before the 90-day challenge that the company had. So people could do both if they wanted to. But that was a great way to educate people. I mean, we did Facebook Lives in there interviewing like a nutritionist and, you know, things like that. And then we shared just recipes, tips, and then we educated on products, but it wasn't all product focused. It was lifestyle, vitality focused. And so that attracted people. So a lot of people got new customers from that, and they're still taking the products. They're still a part of that group. Then we have our Facebook group for our team, and that's for distributors only. And then we have a sneak peek or an inside look Facebook group that is for prospects. So if you've shared with someone about the business and they have questions, they think they're interested, but they're just not ready to pull the trigger yet, this would be a great type of group that we would add them to because it's business focused. So there's videos on the compensation plan, on, you know, people that have rank advanced, and it's still kind of a baby group. I don't have people using it like what I envision yet, but, you know, to interview people that have rank advanced and just celebrate that. so that, because again, stories are what bring people in. And then you've still, though, got to answer those questions of the analytical people that want to know how the compensation plan works and that kind of thing. But again, people can do it on their own time and in their own way. And so I think it's just kind of a combination of different things that we're doing that's seeing growth overall. You know, we had some good rank advancements, a lot of new lower ranks. I'm sure that our Pace Setter program helps a lot with that. And so that's pretty much it.
Well, that's awesome. Very exciting. And you're just a wealth of information, Patti. So appreciate all your wisdom and everything you shared with us tonight. I took a lot of notes and we recorded this. So really appreciate it. I want to thank you again. It's just been an honor and privilege to have you. I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. So that's it for tonight. All righty. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Julie. See everyone in Anaheim.
Yes,
Bye.
thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.